All right, well, today is Sunday, March 27th, 2022. And right now at about 5 minutes to 8 p.m. here on the West Coast, we have a temperature of 53 degrees here in the foothills of Los Angeles. The relative humidity is 84%. We have a dew point of 48 degrees, and the barometer is down at 29.71 inches. And that is dropping slightly. Now, for the last week, we've had the weather controllers have scheduled rain, and that will come from this low pressure system right here, which is dropping down. And there's strange things happening. Of course, we can see a right angle imprint in that vortex. A lot of this moisture is not wrapping right into the very center of that vortex. You see that right angle there? Let's take another look. This is supposed to bring a lot of rain for just one single day tomorrow, the 28th, Monday. Once again, the weather controllers have scheduled this rainy day about a week ago, and that's hard to believe. We've had mid 80s, upper 80s all week long, dry in the low 20s. The relative humidity's been down in the low 20s and the high teens all week. We've had winds on and off as weather systems present opportunities. The weather controllers have blocked and done everything in their power to prevent the rain in Southern California. Now, watch what's happening here. Normally, this tropical flow would go right towards this low pressure system right here. This is a closed low at the surface level all the way up to the 500 and the 300 millibar levelers. This is a closed low. Let's go ahead and look at the maps real quick. This is the surface map. Pardon me, these are out of order. We've got the surface map right here. Okay, so we can see that closed low right here at the surface level. This is supposed to move in tomorrow. We should be getting rain all over, up and down the entire West Coast with this system right here. They're calling this a storm, but it's actually about 997 millibar on the pressure. We'll go ahead and we'll double check that. Here's the, these are all out of order. Let's get these in proper order. Okay, that's the surface chart. Here's the 500 millibar chart. We see that closed low moving into California. We should already have rain all up and down the entire west coast of the United States. Now here's the 300 millibar map, and we see that closed low right there. Now let's go ahead and look at the surface analysis map, and we can see the occluded front here, this purple right here. That's evidence of the satellite transmitter working to maintain a specific pressure. Normally, something like this size would be, they're calling this a storm, by the way, as well. This is really not a storm at that pressure. But it is pointed right towards Southern California. And as I say, the weather controllers have scheduled rain to begin at about 2 a.m. And so we'll see what happens. Now, I've totaled the rainfall for this calendar year starting January 1st. And so from January 1st all the way through February and March, all the way up till today, which is the 27th, we've only had 0.76 inches of rain for the entire calendar year. Now, we have we have had 15.14 inches for the total for this year, but I keep track from July 1st all the way through January or June 30th rather. So that's how I keep track of the rain. And so we've had from starting in October, we had a little bit of rain in all the way through till March 12th and 13th, when we had 3/100ths of an inch. That brings the total up to 15.14 inches. So we have had some rain this season, but the problem is that it came all at once, and when that happens, things get very dried out, and in between these little spats of rain, the humidity drops to below 20% most of the time, because the weather controllers are using wind and high pressure and very low, low dew points, low humidity to control and block these low pressure systems that would normally bring rain to California. So let's go ahead and look at these maps. Once again, you see that the right angle developed there on this low pressure system. And notice what's happening right down here. There's high pressure being built in, which is, look at this, it's pushing all that tropical moisture away from this low pressure system. So here we are right here, and all of this moisture is being redirected, and we're being left with, we're basically getting the leftovers of this frontal system right here. And so they've called for a lot of rain. They've scheduled a lot of rain. That's the report. We're going to get a lot of rain, we're told. That could be 3 inches. It could be 5 inches. It could be 1 inch. We just don't know what's going to happen. But based on what we're seeing there in the water vapor map, there's a lot of manipulation going on, and nobody's talking about this on TV. And notice the high pressure being built in right here, which is re-steering this tropical flow, which is always, higher pressure always wants to flow towards low pressure. But look at this. Look at this. Nobody reports that. Nobody on TV is showing what's going on here. So they're part of the problem. The people reporting the news, these fake meteorologists, the people on YouTube reporting the weather, all of them are ignoring it. There's a lot of people, a lot of kids on YouTube that are reporting weather, and they don't cover the West Coast. They only cover the East Coast, and there's been a lot of storms out on the East Coast, tornadoes, and all the rest of it, and not a single mention of the WSR88Ds. These kids don't, for whatever reason, they don't want it. They don't bring up the WSR88Ds on their videos. Let's go ahead and take a look right now at the Doppler radar map for California. We see here at California, or rather San Francisco, most of the central and northern part of the state right now is getting rain. Let's go ahead and zoom out. Now, this is the Sacramento WSR88D, which is evaporating the rain right there. We can see that. Now, I want to point out that on the East Coast, the last 2 weeks, there hasn't been any WSR88D activity, and so there's been a lot of tornadoes that could have been prevented by the use of these WSR88D ground-based microwave transmitters. Now we see that they're being used here to precisely regulate the amount of rain that the area here around San Francisco. We got Santa Rosa, Napa, and these areas all need a lot of rain, and they're not getting it. Notice that the central and inland portions of California, nothing has got in there yet. There's no rain inland of the state. And we'll just keep an eye on this Doppler map. Nothing happening so far down here in Southern California. As I mentioned, the rain is scheduled to begin at about 2 a.m. So it's pretty amazing. The forecasts are usually pretty correct. And the rain starts right on schedule, just like a faucet turning on. And we'll have to just wait and see what they give us. But up in Northern California, up here, you can see they're getting a fair amount of rain right now. San Jose, Santa Cruz, Salinas, and Monterey right here. But these devices here, these WSR88Ds, can prevent tornadoes. And that particular transmitter right there is in Sacramento, and that is known as KDAX. And the reason these WSR88Ds have call signs is because they transmit high power, high RF power, high output RF power, and so they are required by the FCC to have call signs. And so just by that very situation, we know that those are high power transmitters. They are dual function. The publicly known function is that they are a severe weather detection radar, and they provide these maps that we're looking at right now. But the other function, the nefarious function of this radar, is that it can on demand just simply evaporate moisture and regulate precisely the amount of rain that any area will get. And of course that works right into the gambling operation, the Wall Street weather gambling and derivatives scheme that's been going on for 10 years or more. All right, so let's get back to let's take a look real quick at the Modos Today map. If you notice, the time that we really would like to see the map, it's they blocked out Southern California and the entire Southwest. But we had a lot of chemtrail aerosol spraying this morning. We saw the streaks, and it was very heavy yesterday as well. Very, very heavy yesterday and the day before. So we've had a lot of opportunity for rain, and we know when the jets are up spraying that they are preventing the rain. I've said that a million times on this channel. And let's look here at the long wave IR map. We see that they're calling this a storm, but once again the pressure is about 997. Let's go ahead and double check the map once again. It's actually 991, and they're calling this a storm. So this is really not a storm in terms of the pressure there. It would have to be down around 960 or so to be in that range, in this actual storm range of pressure. So there it is. So we've had opportunities all winter, and actually from October all the way through till today, we've had plenty of opportunities for rain, which have been stopped by these terrorists controlling our weather. Now look at this. We have a straight edge here. This is probably about almost 2,000 miles long right here, and they're preventing, that is, the weather controllers are preventing this tropical flow from getting sucked into that low pressure vortex. And this is just as obvious as the nose on somebody's face. And all this is moving through. This is why we were sprayed the last couple of days. You can see high pressure right here. There's not a lot of condensation around this vortex. You know, when you look at a hurricane, you see condensation all the way around most of the time, all the way around that vortex, but that's not what we're seeing, because this area here is being manipulated. We see that this moisture is evaporating. Totally unnatural. That's why we see that purple occluded front here in the surface map right here. This is warmer air overtaking colder air, and that's why that occluded front is indicated there. So there are clues being dropped, and nobody's mentioning them or paying any attention. Meteorologists on television are just useless. They are just readers. You could hire people right off the street to do the meteorology that you're seeing on television. You could get anybody to do it, and they'd probably do a better job. Okay, so that's pretty much the report. We've had, once again, just a recap of 0.76 inches for the entire calendar year, starting in January. We have had rain, as I mentioned. It's up around 15.14, but when you get all that rain at one time, 3 months ago, that doesn't do us any good now. The ground is parched, and we need a lot of rain. So we'll see what these bozos give us. And if you haven't seen the playlist on this channel, make sure you take a look at Lyndon Johnson's video that I have. I've had that up for about 3 years now, and he explains back in 1964 or 63, somewhere in that time range, that he who controls the weather will control the world. And they were developing a weather satellite in the early 60s to control the weather. And of course, we know all about that now. It's obvious. And of course, that's why the mainstream media's weather reports are like watching cartoons. They don't show you these maps. And of course, there's a reason for that. So, all right. So we'll just end it here and try to get another update real soon. That's it.